In the early hours of June 24, 2021, the coastal town of Surfside, just north of Miami Beach, lay in peaceful silence. Most residents of Champlain Towers South, a 12-story beachfront condominium, were asleep, unaware that within minutes their lives would change forever. The sound of the ocean drifted softly through open windows, and the humid Florida night felt like countless others before it. At approximately 1:22 a.m., that calm was shattered.
Without warning, a large section of the building suddenly gave way. Surveillance footage captured a terrifying sequence, the pool deck area collapsing first, followed by a massive portion of the structure pancaking downward in seconds. Floors fell onto one another in a cascade of concrete, steel, and dust. A thunderous roar echoed through the neighborhood. A massive cloud of debris billowed into the air, covering nearby streets and buildings. Residents in neighboring structures woke to what sounded like an explosion or earthquake. When the dust began to settle, nearly half of Champlain Towers South had disappeared into a mountain of rubble. Inside, dozens of residents were trapped.
Survivors who managed to escape described scenes of confusion and terror. Some ran through dark hallways filled with dust and falling debris. Others climbed down damaged stairwells or called out for loved ones in the darkness. Emergency calls flooded dispatch centers as people reported a building collapse. First responders arrived within minutes. Firefighters, police officers, and paramedics began searching for survivors, navigating unstable debris in the middle of the night. Spotlights illuminated the massive pile of rubble, revealing the scale of destruction. Rescue crews could hear faint sounds, tapping, voices, and alarms, offering hope that people were still alive beneath the wreckage.
In the hours that followed, a large-scale rescue operation took shape. Teams worked around the clock, carefully removing debris by hand and using specialized equipment to search void spaces where survivors might be trapped. Sniffer dogs assisted in detecting signs of life. Conditions were extremely dangerous. The remaining portion of the building stood precariously, and rescuers faced risks from shifting debris, falling concrete, and unstable structures. Despite these dangers, crews pressed on, driven by the urgency of finding survivors. Families gathered nearby, anxiously awaiting news. Photos of missing loved ones were shared as the community held on to hope.
As days passed, the reality of the tragedy became clearer. The collapse resulted in significant loss of life, affecting families from diverse backgrounds, including local residents and international visitors. Vigils were held as the community mourned those lost. Counselors and support services were provided to survivors and families coping with trauma. The emotional toll extended far beyond Surfside, as people across the country and around the world followed the story closely. For many, the disaster raised profound questions about safety and accountability.
Attention quickly turned to understanding why the building collapsed. Engineers and investigators examined structural components, construction records, and maintenance history. Reports indicated concerns about concrete deterioration, waterproofing issues, and structural damage in the years leading up to the incident. Officials sought to determine the sequence of failures that led to the sudden collapse. The investigation would become one of the most detailed structural inquiries in recent history, aiming to identify lessons that could prevent similar tragedies.
As search efforts continued, authorities made the difficult decision to demolish the remaining standing portion of the building due to safety concerns. Controlled demolition was carried out to protect rescue teams and nearby residents, marking an emotional moment for families still hoping for answers. Rescue operations eventually transitioned to recovery, as crews continued the painstaking work of locating victims within the debris.
The response to the collapse brought an outpouring of support. Volunteers provided food and assistance to responders and families. Donations helped support relief funds. Local businesses and community organizations rallied together, offering comfort and resources. Religious leaders from multiple faiths held services, reflecting the diverse community affected by the tragedy. The sense of unity helped many cope during an incredibly difficult time.
The Surfside collapse sparked renewed focus on building inspections, maintenance practices, and structural safety, particularly for aging coastal structures exposed to saltwater and environmental stress. Officials in many regions reviewed regulations and inspection protocols to identify potential risks in similar buildings. The event highlighted the importance of proactive maintenance and oversight in ensuring long-term structural integrity.
Today, the site of the collapse stands as a place of remembrance. Memorial efforts honor the victims, and discussions continue about how best to commemorate the lives affected. The tragedy left an enduring impact on families, first responders, and the wider community. The story of the Miami Condo Collapse is one of sudden loss, courageous rescue efforts, and a collective determination to learn from disaster. It reminds us how fragile ordinary moments can be, and how communities come together in the face of unimaginable tragedy.